Boy, I don't even know what that was. What's today's date? Hey everybody, welcome back. What we're doing out here today is we're looking at adding another type of garden to our collection of gardens here. So if you're on our live stream last night, that'd have been Sunday, August. Well, I don't even know what that was. What's today's date?
Today's date? The 12th.
Today's the 12th, so I've been on the 11th. We talked about trying to meet our 100% of our food, the needs, and how we can do that efficiently on the amount of property we have. One of the things we talked about was adding an area that follows more of the traditional market garden style. So as you can see behind me, we're working on laying that out in the area we have available just to see what would that look like, and then we're going to lay it out on paper and do the math and see just exactly what could we produce on an annual basis, and is it worth giving up what we have here, the investment, and what of course if you can grow any food you can grow, it's worth a certain amount of investment. So there's no question that we would benefit from it. It's just, you know, is it a smart thing for us to do? So we're laying out, we don't have a big an area as I'd like to have. I don't really want to cut into what's remaining of the neighborhood garden with the perennials, the fruit trees. So we're going to work with the area that's out in front of it. It looks like that's going to limit us to about a 32 by 50 plot. That'll give us 8 beds, 50 feet long. So not a lot to work with, but this also isn't for market. This isn't for us to sell. It's just for our own production, our own needs. So we're trying to square that up, keeping in consideration the high water level that you see out in here in this area that we've had before. So we try to avoid that. We're trying to make it look nice and tie into what's already here, but also make sure that we're optimizing the installation and we'll get the most out of it. So it's a good area for sun. We are going to leave the fruit trees that we have, so we've got to think about what those are going to look like in the future. We don't want to move any more fruit trees, so we're trying to avoid that. We want to keep the little area for a social gathering with a picnic table and all that. So all that's going to stay there. We're going to lay this out, outlining it a little bit so we can see it a little bit better, get a better visual on it. I'll probably send the drone up. We'll get an overhead view of it and see what that layout will look like, and then we'll start putting stuff on paper. So just wanted to include you all in this little bit of the process. Again, we haven't made a final decision on if we're going to do this. It's just we are considering it, and it may be a logical thing for us to do. It may not be. So we may get into these further details and decide no, it's not right for us. But definitely high productive output in this method. But we just got to make sure it's right for us, right? So they're out here laying out. Hate to put a lot of spray paint on the ground, but I got to get a good look at what this is going to be like, and especially when I send the drone up overhead, hopefully be able to see that outline, see how it kind of ties into everything else. So need to decide on this now, because if we're going to do it, we need to get some tarps over this. There's still a lot of wood chips in this area that we need to get those breaking down even further and have everything ready. This is not an area that we would implement before next spring, but we need to get working on it now so that it would be ready. So let's take a look, see what it's going to look like.
consideration we have to think about before we decide for sure whether to do this market style garden here is water. One of the problems we had before with our previous neighborhood area that we had expanded out here was it wasn't well established. We had the swell, which was watering, and sometimes that worked great, but since it wasn't very well established yet, it would dry out, and where we are, we're a little farther away from any of our hoses, and we don't really want to use the city water. We'd really prefer to use rainwater. So we are trying to consider or think about a solution of how we're gonna water this, because obviously in this style of gardening, we're gonna need more watering than we would for like our food forest, the way we have it set up. So one thing we're considering is back there where the picnic table area is building some sort of a rain roof so that we can have some rainwater harvesting. You know, we just really need to come up with an idea of how to make sure we have proper water if we decide to do this type of garden here. So if you guys have any ideas, be sure and let us know. And that might help us make up our mind whether this is what we're gonna go for right now or not. So tell us in the comments. And thanks for watching this, guys. Give us some, give us your opinions. Tell us what you think. Should we go ahead and go for this style market type garden? We're all for doing different things just to get the best production for what we're looking for. So be sure and let us know what you think, and we will talk to you guys next time. Bye.